There are people who look intelligent, and then there are those who are intelligent. The difference is subtle but unmistakable, like the difference between noise and thunder. We don't need certificates, applause, or titles to recognize true intelligence. We feel it in the way a person moves through life with discipline, reason, and unshakable calm. As the ancient thinker Chrysippus wrote, "The intelligent soul is not the loud one, but the orderly one." And if we're honest with ourselves, we know this truth still whispers today. Let us speak about the 4 rare traits that reveal genuine intelligence, the traits that shape the kind of mind that cannot be disturbed, manipulated, or broken. 1. The ability to resist emotional temptation. Real intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about not being ruled by every feeling that passes through us. Most people collapse under their impulses. Anger flares, envy burns, fear twists the mind, and they react without thinking. But the truly intelligent, the ones who have cultivated an inner fortress, they know that the moment you lose control of yourself, you've already lost the battle. Epictetus warned, "If you are disturbed, it is not the thing itself that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." And those who are genuinely intelligent take this to heart. They understand that emotions are messages, not masters. Instead of exploding in frustration, they step back, they observe, they question, they choose their response instead of surrendering to instinct. This ability, the power to pause before reacting, is one of the clearest marks of a disciplined and intelligent mind. We can feel it in ourselves when it happens. That moment when irritation comes, and instead of lashing out, we breathe, we think, we rise above. That is the beginning of our intellectual maturity, the moment when we stop being dragged by the world and start steering our own life. 2. The intelligence of restraint, the mind that refuses to be ruled. There is a kind of intelligence that does not shout, does not demand recognition, and does not need the world to applaud. It is quieter, darker, more disciplined, and because it is rare, people often confuse it for coldness or detachment. But we, who study the deeper movements of human nature, know exactly what it is. It is the intelligence of restraint, a mind that refuses to be ruled by its impulses, a mind that has mastered the turbulent storms that drag most people away from themselves. This form of intelligence is not measured by academic degrees, achievements, or how quickly one can solve abstract puzzles. It is measured in the moment where emotion rises like a fire, and yet we do not let it burn the world around us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What most forget is that this strength is intelligence. The Stoic researchers who study emotional regulation consistently point to the same truth. The ability to control one's inner responses predicts clarity, judgment, and long-term success more than raw cognitive horsepower. Because what is intelligence if not the ability to see? And how can one see anything clearly if their vision is clouded by anger, pride, jealousy, or the desperate hunger to be noticed? A truly intelligent person, one shaped by inner discipline rather than outer validation, moves differently. They speak less, but when they do, their words carry weight. They react slowly, not because they are unsure, but because they have learned the danger of thoughtless impulses. They choose where to give their energy, refusing to let every insult, every provocation, every rumor pull them into emotional chaos. This is the intelligence that built empires within the self. Seneca said, "No man is free who is a slave to his emotions." We could extend this. No mind is truly intelligent while it is still chained to reactivity. And so we learn to watch ourselves, to pause before we respond, to question the first wave of emotion before giving it authority, to separate what things mean from what they feel like. This is not easy. The world worships speed, stimulation, and loudness. The world rewards those who react, not those who reflect. But we are not here to be like the world. We are here to be disciplined, to be dangerous, to be clear-minded in a chaotic age. The intelligence of restraint is forged slowly in moments no one sees, when you choose silence over proving a point, when you choose patience over anger, when you choose understanding over ego, when you choose purpose over distraction. These choices accumulate, and eventually they create a person who is unshakable, not because life is easy, but because the mind has been trained to stay centered while everything around it breaks. Epictetus reminds us, no great thing is created suddenly, and neither is this higher form of intelligence. It is earned through self-control, through disciplined thought, through the refusal to be owned by emotion. This is the intelligence that turns a person into a force, and in the end, it is the only intelligence that truly endures. 3. The intelligence of discernment, seeing the world without illusion. There is a kind of intelligence that cannot be taught in classrooms, measured in tests, or proven with titles. It is quieter, sharper, almost unsettling, because it is the intelligence that comes from seeing the world and oneself without illusion. Most people walk through life half asleep, guided not by reason but by desire, fear, ego, and the invisible hands of their emotions. They chase approval, imitate the masses, and cling to comforting lies because the truth is too heavy for them to hold. But the truly intelligent, the ones shaped by inner discipline rather than external praise, carry a different kind of sight. Stoic legend Chrysippus wrote that wisdom begins when we perceive things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. This perception, this ruthless clarity, is a sign of profound intelligence, because it requires something most people lack: courage. The courage to question your own impulses, the courage to doubt your first reaction, the courage to admit that what feels true is not always what is true, and the courage to confront the painful reality that much of the world runs on illusion. People pretend, people posture, people lie to each other and worse, to themselves. They mistake noise for depth, attention for respect, and comfort for happiness. They believe their emotions are evidence, their instincts are infallible, and their pain is permanent. But the disciplined mind, the Stoic mind, does not accept these illusions. It studies them, it dismantles them, it rises above them. A person with this kind of intelligence can walk into any situation and immediately sense what others cannot. Intentions, character, motives, consequences, not because they are cynical, but because they have trained themselves to see beyond the surface. They no longer take everything personally. They no longer mistake flattery for friendship. They no longer confuse intensity for love or volume for truth. They evaluate, they observe, they interpret without being dragged by emotion. Researchers in modern Stoic psychology often describe this as cognitive distancing, the ability to separate oneself from a thought so it can be examined rather than obeyed. This skill forms the backbone of mature intelligence, because a person who sees clearly cannot be manipulated easily. They cannot be rushed into decisions. They cannot be provoked into foolish reactions, and they cannot be controlled by the chaos around them. This is why those with true discernment often seem detached, even intimidating. Not because they lack emotion, but because they refuse to let emotion blind them. They walk through life with a mind sharpened by discipline, a heart guarded by reason, and a spirit anchored in self-control. As Seneca wrote, the first step toward wisdom is knowing what is false. And once we learn to strip away illusion, once we develop the strength to look at the world without masks, without fantasies, without the comforting lies, we gain something priceless. A mind that cannot be deceived, a heart that cannot be easily broken, and a life that cannot be quietly stolen by emotion. This is the intelligence that elevates us, the intelligence that protects us, the intelligence that frees us. 4. The intelligence of emotional minimalism, mastering the inner storm. There is a rare form of intelligence that the world almost never praises because it is quiet, restrained, and invisible to anyone who has not fought their own mind. It is the intelligence of emotional minimalism, the ability to remain steady while the world around you trembles. Most people believe intelligence is about how fast you think, how much you know, or how cleverly you argue. But the ancient Stoics and the philosophers who studied them repeatedly warned that a brilliant mind without emotional discipline is like a sharp sword in the hands of a child. It cuts everything, including the one who holds it. This is why the rarest intelligence is the ability to not react, to feel the emotion without becoming the emotion, to sense the insult without taking the wound, to witness chaos without letting it enter the mind. Epictetus wrote, "No person is free who is not master of himself." Modern researchers on Stoic self-regulation interpret this as the highest cognitive skill, the ability to govern one's impulses with deliberate choice rather than instinct. This is emotional minimalism, not the absence of feeling, but the governance of it. Highly intelligent people embrace this discipline not because they are detached or cold, but because they understand a truth the majority never realizes. Every reaction is a sacrifice. Every burst of anger costs energy. Every unnecessary argument costs peace. Every emotional eruption costs clarity. So the intelligent conserve their emotional resources like a sacred currency. They do not waste anger on trivial people. They do not waste sorrow on temporary events. They do not waste attention on meaningless battles. Their restraint is not weakness. It is optimization, because they know that the world is full of emotional traps. Every insult is bait. Every provocation is a doorway to self-destruction. Every petty conflict is an invitation to lose control of the inner kingdom they have worked so hard to build. So instead of reacting, they observe. Instead of exploding, they breathe. Instead of rushing, they step back. They treat their emotions like fire, powerful, necessary, but deadly when uncontained. There is a deep, almost intimidating calm that surrounds these people, a calm that unsettles those who rely on emotional chaos to dominate conversations and relationships, a calm that exposes manipulation because it cannot be moved by it. This is why Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The closer a mind comes to stillness, the greater its strength." It is a paradox that only the truly intelligent understand. The world gets quieter when the mind gets stronger. Most people live in a constant storm of inner noise, second-guessing themselves, overthinking, reacting, regretting, replaying. But the emotionally disciplined have learned to reduce this storm to a single flame burning steadily in the center of their being. That flame is purpose, that flame is clarity, that flame is control. And because they guard this flame with everything they have, they do not allow the chaos of others to put it out. They understand that emotional chaos spreads like fire. One angry person can ignite 10 more. But emotional discipline also spreads like fire. One calm mind can silence an entire room. This is why the highly intelligent are often misunderstood. People assume they are indifferent, aloof, or unbothered. But the truth is far deeper. They simply refuse to spend their emotional life on things that do not deserve it. They refuse to be pulled by the strings of others. They refuse to be predictable. They refuse to surrender their inner stability to anyone. This is the intelligence of emotional minimalism, a discipline forged by reason, sharpened by self-observation, and protected by silence. Get exclusive content and deeper insights. Join our membership today. Link in the description. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the Stoic Verse for more wisdom to guide your journey.